pawns, man, in the game, they get capped quick. They be out the game early.
Unless they some smart-ass pawns.
This is not meth.
We are back. Episode 10. We've made it. This is longer than most podcasts ever exist in this community. Normally do about 3 or 4 and we never be seen from again. But we are here. We just finished season 3 of Oz, season 2 of The Wire, and we're almost finished with season 3 of Breaking Bad. So this episode we will start with season 4 of The Oz, 3 episodes. Wire, 3 episodes of season 3. Same location, just to let you ever know. And I had to break a harsh truth to Mark that his show is listed as a police procedural. Not don't want to shoot the messenger, but that happened. And Breaking Bad. We're almost to the end of season 3 of Breaking Bad. So, Matt, how are you? Oh, Mike. I don't know if Mike exists anymore. We're still trying to figure that out. We're trying to determine it. We've sent a wellness check, but he's sleeping, if we're being honest. Matt, how are you today?
I think we might have lost Mike. He might be in Oz right now. So best of luck to him, and I hope he spends his time well. But I'm doing good. Had some good time watching the shows this week. Can't wait to talk about with you guys.
Yes. Leader, defender of the police procedurals, Mark Manjaga. How are you? And how was your viewing experience?
Yeah, my weekend was only mildly ruined, or it was kind of ruined whenever I saw that message. It really infuriated me, sending me a downward spiral. I almost had my own over animated Oz little video of me breaking the law and ended up in Oz. Like it was not great. We're gonna talk about Oz again this week and talk about some Breaking Bad and yeah.
All right. So we're switching the order that we normally do. We're doing Oz, Breaking Bad, Wire, just because a fly we don't want to end on. So, first episode, Breaking Bad, we're back. I'm so happy we spent all 2 episodes of the race war to be solved in 3 minutes of us doing lockdown. Sure.
I mean, it was like a 3-week lockdown, so that's fair.
I don't care. Shut up. Like, what I just said, this show is blue balls. This show is literally you promise something and they don't deliver for you. So it sucks. That was my overall take. The beginning of it. Man. There's a few things that happened in season 4 of Oz that don't happen in any other season. They decide to, one, switch up the cutscenes. They look like PSA commercials, if we're being honest. They are so poorly put together. You know when people used to go to jail and we learned why they go to jail? They were shot somewhat grainy or somewhere thing. Apparently, maybe they got a new camera and didn't realize how terrible this shit looks. But it looks bad through this season so far. Cyril is having fucking dreams. Like, you know what? I hate dream sequences in movies normally. I'll tell you what I hate more: Oz dream sequences. Him coming like standing there and telling you killed me. Like, okay, cool. I get if this is your emotional elements to make me feel bad, it didn't work. O'Reilly. Because O'Reilly and Cyril, isn't it in this episode that they have the with Nathan, they're trying like he's back on Dr. Nathan's ass. Like he wants to be with her again. Like he cuts himself. He like makes himself go there because did it end last season with the therapy? Right.
No, the therapy that's coming up in this group of
Okay,
episodes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping. We never jump ahead of the show, I promise. But basically, talking to Sister Pete on making up to Nathan and trying to convince Nathan and the parents, and that's the whole thing. He like cuts his hand to try to get close to her. He's, nice guy O'Reilly. Honestly, we always say like these guys are bad. This person's bad. Fucking O'Reilly's a fucking bad guy. Bad guy. Real bad guy. I want that on the record.
Is he?
He's likable. Very, very bad guy. Very, arguably the worst guy, if we're being fair.
I mean, he's mayhem personified. So,
well, he fucks with everybody, and bad guy. Our favorite crazy ass female cop is still in there and finds a man that's eaten himself to death. That's cool. like, she's like, son of a bitch, the amount of paperwork I'm gonna have to do. Oh, I'm so sorry. She is the most reasonable of everybody in Oz. They're like, these people in solitary, we're gonna make them have an exercise rec time. Oh, are you gonna police it? Oh, you want us to police it? These people got sent here for a reason, and now you want them to do walk-arounds? Fuck off. That's the most valid statement that's ever happened in Oz. Like, why the fuck should we be doing this? Like, yes,
and they're going to do it in the
suicide,
gym. That's the most dangerous place in Oz.
Oh, you guys want to know my favorite thing that happens also in this episode? We introduce a guy that doesn't matter to try to stab Alvarez because the people that know, there's not a fucking soul inside Oz that we care about can kill Alvarez. The only people that can do it are the people we learn nothing about and they enter. He's like, he was my cousin. Okay? Well, your cousin tried to kill me. I don't know what you want from me, but sure. So he gets introduced. They do this ring around the pose, and they know who. Like, there's. Is it just misinformation about who sexually assaulted? I don't know if that word.
Yeah, because the end of last season, Alvarez said it was the one guy that he killed, but now it's actually this guy, his cousin, that did it. So
right.
As far as we know.
It could be fucking anybody at this point. Like, we don't know.
Season 3 is the old guys still got game. As I'm deeming this season called, the old guys still got it. The kooky guy that talks about his toothpaste and stuff, he ended up stabbing the fucking guy in the neck, and Alvarez takes care of both of them in the situation.
He's got tired of them lying.
Schillinger grabs mail from Beechard and takes it from him. Still fucking with each other, so that's always fun. What else happens? Beechard is trying to be holier than thou, gonna try to hunt down Schillinger's son for him. Puts his daddy on the case. We get to meet the man that made and Keller's playing overprotective boyfriend, you're not allowed to do that. And Preacher's like, fuck off, I'm gonna do it. So, and then they end up fighting, so fun. Crazy bitch is back in Oz. She lost her baby, right?
Yeah, the baby died of mysterious circumstances.
But she was going to an insane asylum, and now she's just back. What's the deal with that?
Well, yeah, because now the baby's not involved.
The baby's gone. She's back.
Now she's saying to just die.
Oh.
We meet that guy. He's in there because he kills his girlfriend because she's cheating on him in the bed. That's the cutscene I'm talking about. If you've ever seen one of the worst cutscenes in the history of that's terrible. You know what? I don't know how this still keeps happening. I guess because they overlap so often in the show. But how The Wire and Oz just match up so many times. Oh, not to tease anything, This next one is politically driven. Guess what? Oz is now politically driven because the warden's going to run for assistant
Lieutenant
governor,
yeah.
lieutenant governor. The fuck, like crazy. McManus, one of the best moments of the entire season time. Diane fell in love overseas and he loses his mind. He pulls out This man's been accused of sexual assault. He's been accused of grabbing an inmate, doing all this horrible stuff, and he just has booze available in his thing.
He had a ring. He was going to propose to her. This guy is crazy.
He's a nugget.
They kissed once 2 weeks ago, and now he's going to propose to her. And she's been away, so it's not like they've been dating this whole 2-week period. It's he's the worst.
Adebisi and Bricks.
Yep, Bricks.
Sure.
Because I know. The only reason I call him that is because Mark hates it. Adebisi, because he comes back to Oz, right?
Yeah.
He told that he was lying or didn't know exactly what ended up happening. Adebisi shows that he has a gun on him. Then we get some new inmates. Herc comes in. Lieutenant Daniels comes in.
Oh yeah.
They're running a wire inside Oz. That's what it seemed like. This Herc's got a phone. Daniels is an undercover cop. But also, can we also agree that Herc is like the dumbest motherfucker possible? One of them. He just believes the one guy that, cell phones are not allowed. I'll take care of it for you. And just I have a phone now.
Well, first he screwed up when he told the one guy, Italian mafia, that's stupid. I mean, I don't believe in those stereotypes. Get out of my face.
What's funny is he is the exact person that should be in Oz. But because Oz is mismanaged, he's in there with a bunch of murderers, who will, of course, take advantage of him.
Yeah, because he's in jail because he has a construction company and they built something and it was shoddy work. It collapsed and killed 2 people. Which, I mean, it's so
the
not
people
good,
that make honest mistakes gets in there with the rapers and murderers, the serial. That makes McManus great at his job.
I mean, there's also the other guy is in jail for vandalizing a statue. And he's in there with the murderers and the rapes and all that stuff.
He's in there with Adebisi who killed somebody with a machete.
Yeah. So then we get to introduce the this is the last one, guys. Our trailer, our intro is finally complete. It's 4 seasons in. Nazario picked something from 4 seasons. He picked the first 2 from season 1 of both of our shows. Well, yes, it's season 1 of both, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes, he does season 1, and then he goes, even though there are gunfights in the first
season 1. the craziest part, though, is that in the Oz intro, the guy shooting, he shoots somebody from the Wire intro.
He does. So we introduce this guy. He's Frenchy, basically. And Bricks and Poet and stuff are just being dicks to him. By the way, Poet hasn't been a dick to anybody the entire run, basically, of why he's in there. He got out, he killed somebody, but inside of it, he's just the guy that writes a diss track on you. He doesn't do anything. He's now bullying, which is just a weird character jump. Frenchie goes to McManus and is like, I need help. It's like, I'll put you in protective. No, okay. McManus clearly not reading the room at all. He's great for all inmates. Apparently, this guy without shoes now wants to go to the fucking gym and wants to play basketball. And Bricks just beats the fuck out of him on the court, just runs his ass. And guess who? The conscious, if Jiminy Cricket was there for Pinocchio, O'Reilly's there for every bad fucking decision for people in Oz. He says, "You don't need to stand. You need to stand up for yourself. You need to take action." What does he do? Fucking steals the gun and lights them up.
Adebisi leaves the gun because they're all trying to sit at McManus, and that's why the one part O'Reilly publicly tells McManus, "Hey, you need to get him out of here. It's not safe to have him here." So they're all laying it on and setting up the framework for him to get this gun and just go to town.
And does anybody? Well, I know probably one, but Bricks isn't dead, is he? Or is
he's
he
dead? Yeah,
Nope.
Bricks,
Yeah, they
Bricks
kill
is dead.
everybody, right?
It's like I think 4 people died.
I guess they don't show up in the next few episodes, so they're done.
Yeah, it's Bricks, one of the other guys, some random person, and then one of the prison guards get killed.
Yes. The fucking headshot of all headshots I've ever seen. This motherfucker whips it and just pops him right in the dome next to McManus. I was like, yeah, so thank God, like, Bricks is finally gone. He kills Poet, doesn't he?
No. I don't even think he gets shot.
How does Poet not die? Like, how does Poet not get shot?
Because we need one of those guys to stay around so that, he kind of moves.
But again, I can't argue, right? Because last episode, my biggest problem was they don't kill off main people. They just don't. Brent and Keller takes one fucking wicked.
Yeah, Keller takes a hit.
Yeah, and then then Beecher pulls him by that fucking arm, which has gotta be the most agonizing thing I've ever seen. He just shot right here and then gets pulled by.
Let me save you.
That is gonna be. The face acting of these guys when this happens, like Schillinger's face is like, holy fuck, there's a fucking gun here. Like, dude, I'm tough. I'm out. And then, of course, Sort comes in, and well, we know how they handle people. I'm surprised he was able to kill himself. Right? Pretty cool shot that they do against Adebisi's cell, where the gun that he had shoots and the blood splatters all over it. I think great first episode, if I'm going to be honest. Again, don't give a fuck about Alvarez. We'll never care about Alvarez. I do not care what he does. He's just like the "oh, poor me" every time guy that we're supposed to care about. But yeah, that shot where he shoots himself and then Adebis is just staring at the thing like. What did you guys think? Like it, disliked it, favorite part, least favorite part?
I thought this was a great episode. I mean, it kind of resolved, I guess, the ending of last year. Maybe not the best way, but I think it made up for it. It introduced a whole bunch of new characters, and it pretty much had like a little mini story with that French guy all in there. Pretty much something that would have usually taken a few episodes, and then it built up. They all did it in this one episode. I thought it was really great. And it pretty much season started off with a bang. McManus is going crazy. I love it. But yeah, definitely great.
Mark, you hater of Oz, go ahead.
I was just checking up on. I think the dates align. It is possible. You know what? I won't get to that yet. Funny thing to bring up about Alvarez. The thing I do find funny about Alvarez, at least his story, is that everybody wants him dead. Literally nobody likes him. Like even like the warden might want to kill Alvarez.
He got stabbed on his first day in Oz.
Yeah, and like he just won't die. He just won't go away. Like that's his character at this point. He just won't go away. And mention about McManus, which nobody gives a fuck about McManus. But funny thing about Edie Falco is I knew at some point she got ridden off this show. At some point, she was just going to go away because Sopranos took off. And you know what? I'd rather do this than Oz. And I couldn't remember it. I honestly thought it happened earlier. And then we got to the moment and thought, wow, that's fucking stupid. Like, I can't think of like a worse way to get ridden off the show. Oh, I went to England and I married a guy. Oh,
another man who wasn't McManus, and she was like, "I'm good. Let's do this."
Do we think so? We think this happened in between the seasons because they didn't know how to end it, or do you think this was the plan?
Well, I think pretty much Sopranos started like the same year that this season started, or something like that. So pretty much she couldn't do the show anymore. So this is kind of just their way of writing her off.
But why wouldn't they kill her off last season?
Who knows? Like,
Some people can get a happy ending.
like, it's possible that they didn't know they were going to get rid of her at the end of last season.
This bitch couldn't afford fucking food for her kids, and now she has a trip to Italy, like the Europe planned. She had to work doubles. They took away doubles in season 2. How does she make more money to just go? Okay.
She won a trip on a radio call.
That cigarette money she was bringing in was lucrative.
But she hasn't been able to do it. That guy died so long ago that we keep being reminded of.
That's fair. Go ahead, Mark. I cut you off though.
I mean, I don't have much left. I don't know. Like, it was fine. The show has a handful of good moments. I mean, I think we're kind of going back to stupid Oz. Oh, now there's a phone here, and like the whole racial war thing kind of went nowhere, and just like, okay, like we're just kind of moving along here. Oh, and the gun shows up, and like it's just this does like kind of like I remember seeing the gun moment, thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Like, how does a gun just get in here and like just a random dude just starts shooting people? What's happening here?
And they never even explained how he got the cell phone in there. Do they just not check these people's pockets when they're coming in?
Fuck no, they don't. It's fucking honest. They don't care.
I mean, I've
He
seen
put it straight up his
Shawshank.
ass.
I saw Shawshank. Didn't they like cavity search those guys? And that was like in the 60s.
No. Did you watch Oz season 1? They literally bent them over and made them spread their cheeks in episode 1 when Beechard was moving in.
It's not like he got it mailed to him.
That man was butterball naked. That man was butt ass naked and couldn't sneak it. And this guy has a fucking phone in a case.
See, they check their ass, but they don't pat down their pockets. So
the dude was naked. They were naked. Crazy.
Well, they get their clothes back.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I wonder why we have all these problems. Yeah, you fucking idiots. I wonder why. Anything else from episode 1?
Nah.
Okay. Obituaries, I think, is the second episode of this. I didn't know what the first one was, but I think it's Obituaries because I remember Hill just talking about obituaries every time we get a cut to him. Yeah. Mark, loving it? Still loving it? I think I'm going to splice together all the. I want to splice together all the narrations and put them on a, just make a video for you to go back to and look at them. Muslim Brotherhood sits down with Warden, basically telling him McManus has got to go. Like, every problem that's here is McManus's fault. Get rid of him. And he's like, you don't tell me who to hire and then fire my prison, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is my prison. Cool, interesting fight. Hey, you know that guy that checked everybody in season 2, episode 1 about the police riot? Yeah, we find him again. He's running against him for governor. He said he was. man of his word.
Got my vote.
No, we don't. Warden sits down with a lady from the governor's office. Basically, McManus is the problem. Like, you need to get rid of McManus if you ever want to be hired. We've been saying this since season 1. If you thought it was dumb the first time, Diane writes a letter, and we get to hear the audio play over it while he lights it on fire and acts depressed as fuck. Shut the fuck up. Then we get two of the most awkward scenes ever. Warden sits there and is talking about the funeral arrangements for the officer, and then McManus at the funeral goes into just fucking like. Does he sing? Did he sing? He sings, yes. Nathan and Sister Pete like follow him Warden up there and be like, hey, we need to do something about McManus. I think he's like slowly cracking. I fired him. They fired him. I took care of it, buddy. I got him. I fired him. So that's just all right. He's finally gone. They found Beechard, and Beechard's dad found his son. They're gonna pay for him to be there. Genius, like we found him. He's pretty hard on drugs. Yeah, pay what you got to pay. Then one of the most awkward interactions. Schillinger's a dad. He just doesn't know how to hug his kids or like be a dad, which is funny because they're like, "Oh, you look good. You look good. Like, give me a hug. He wants to leave the entire time. Like, the father is like, no, like, you haven't earned your money. So basically, it's paid up like that. Daniels, again, he is going to be Daniels. I do not care what his name is in this show. Like, I could care fucking less.
I mean, he's
Lieutenant
undercover.
Daniel-
He's got to be Daniels.
Yeah, he's Daniels. Lieutenant Daniels' girlfriend or other officer?
Yeah, it's his partner.
But are they together in real? Who fucking cares?
That's
Doesn't matter.
that's her cover for why she's visiting him. Even
Yeah,
though
so
he has a desk job at the front of the ordnance office, so he can just be calling them on the phone. But no, I'm going to risk my cover and have you come into the prison.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
narrator extraordinary knows exactly who this bitch is. Like, if we're being real, like, knows her exactly who she is. So he Augustus and him are roommates. And he calls her and goes, "Do you know this?" "Yeah." "Okay, you can't come around anymore." Daniels is fake getting high because he can. He has to, like, he's trying to go undercover. One of the rules is he can't be high. Saeed and his white lady, I don't know her name, but basically share why they can't be together. Basically, like, he can never commit. Well, he's in fucking jail, okay? He had a shot. He told the warden to stick it up his ass. Still one of the dumbest. I don't care. Fight the power all you want. You fought the power, and all of a sudden you're still in jail, and nothing's been changed at all. If anything, the warden of this prison that you feel is so corrupt and so against you is now running for a lieutenant governor aside the guy you can't stand. So, genius. Saeed meets with a bunch of guys, but I don't remember what is this. He meets with, like, a.
It's about the trial for the riot.
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah, the trial for the riot.
And he gets all upset because they want him. He has to wear an orange jumpsuit to go to the courthouse, so he's going to refuse to testify. And then Beach is like, "You just want to keep the cause going. You're finding excuses and stuff. So I'm going to go testify."
Yeah, Beecher's like, "I'll just go do it." This is gonna sound so. This could get me canceled in 100%. The fighter that fought,
The guy that Cyril put in a coma?
no,
Brain dead? No.
The man that likes men, that O'Reilly bet on, is sitting down with, who's he sit down with?
Is that when he finds out his case? Like,
I think wasn't it like a juror comes to visit him or something?
Oh, a
like
juror!
That? Yeah.
Boom. That's why there's three of us. The juror basically comes out and say that the guy led an attack because he was gay, and if you want to know why I was going to say the gay, and I thought that was going to be very rude, but, like, I just didn't know how to describe him because, you listen, his character name is not important until this episode.
That's pretty tame for Oz standards.
Yeah, so cancel me. I'm sorry. I don't know. Homosexual, maybe better.
I love how the juror says, "Hey, I know you cut off that guy's head and put it in a box, but I got to tell you, there was a juror that was prejudiced against you. Like, why the fuck are you sitting here? Like, you just said he killed a guy, put his head in the fucking box. Like, what are you doing?"
But he didn't get a fair trial.
The guy that killed his girlfriend while they were cheating on him wakes up and sees crazy lady banging in the thing. Herc is now, man, Herc gets a lot of jobs for being new in Dallas. He's painting detail. He's going to paint her cell because if she's going to go to death row, it's got to look nice in there. We can't do that. And, like, she's trying to get physical with all of them instantly. Like, it's crazy. Cyril and O'Reilly sit down with Sister Pete. They have that conversation. There's the couple thing. If you want to tell one of my least favorite storylines, is this couple, this therapy aspect of this shit. It's just very annoying. O'Reilly finds out that there's a cell phone in the cell. So basically, he gets back in there and he gets out of the kitchen detail to go back when no one else is in Oz. Which again, no police is like no one. You can just freely walk around Oz wherever the fuck you want. Yeah, has there been a lot of deaths? Sure, but can you just go where you like? Yep, no problem. They search into it, they can't find it. They have the shower moment where it's like, "Did you find it?" No, I didn't. Well, I know you have the phone. I need it. It's like, oh, well, it's not where I'll have to go get it. And then Herc basically goes and gets like demands the phone be back, and then when you want something done, you need an Aryan brother to do it. The tattooed guy is willing to just fucking do anything. I'm a guy. Hey, you gotta kill somebody? Sure. You want me to do it? Sure. You want me to steal something? Sure. He doesn't care. Don't even have to pay a lot. One of the most brutal like death scenes, basically. Makes him overdose by sticking a needle of drugs in his thing, in his mouth, and then leaves him on the thing. Looks like he just overdosed. So again, that crime is going to be not figured out. O'Reilly and him kind of make like a truce of some sort, like
after the guy had to die, but
yeah, okay, sure, buddy, sure. And I don't know why O'Reilly just didn't go to the tattoo guy and be like, "Give me the cell phone." No problem. Do I get to use it? No, no problem. You want me to kill him still? I'll kill him. Fine. Has no issues. Alvarez is one of the motherfucker. I hate Oz. Pisses me off probably more than any show I've ever watched. Because Alvarez, guess who greets him? Is on mopping duty inside the mole, and guess what he tells him? I've completed it. I'm getting out of here. You want to go with me? And then basically, he tries to. There's a guy that gets put into again, another guy that we don't know anything about gets put next to him in the thing to kill Alvarez. Guess what doesn't happen? Doesn't kill Alvarez. Like, okay, perfect. Like, it's the dumbest thing possible. How many more characters do we need to introduce to not kill Alvarez? Like, and then at the end of the episode, they're doing count. 2 people are missing. Who are they? The Mole and Alvarez. They've escaped. And where have they escaped? It's in the janitor's closet, in the hospital room, because no one checks that shit, even though somebody fucking mops it every goddamn day.
Well, he's the one mopping it, so.
Yeah, he's the guy.
There's other people that mop. There's other people. And this hole is massive. Like, they didn't see this shit. Like,
how long do you think it took him to do that? Where he maybe a couple of hours a day he can be over there reasonably?
It's not like when you're in your
cell when you're there all night.
You can go. The guy that is in there for digging holes, you just let walk freely and dig holes anywhere. Since he's been to Oz, he's dug 2 holes. 2. After
we haven't even seen it. We don't know how long he's been working on it. It can't have been that long. With Oz, it wouldn't surprise me. He probably had a jackhammer or something in there, and nobody heard it.
And after the first one, guys, don't you put him on high alert? Like, we had a hole in this. He can't do it twice, can he?
Yeah, but Cody, he's old.
I mean,
where's he going with this dirt? Where does he go with the dirt? Like the rocks, the concrete.
I mean, he's in the janitor's closet. They got those big sinks in there.
I mean, to God's like they got to deal with killings, race wars, drugs. I mean, like they can just let the mole just dig his holes. Like we'll pick our battles here.
Sure, buddy. Yeah. You know what? I hope I get you guys in the future. If I ever break the law, I hope I get you guys as the judges. Oh, what did he done? He done nothing wrong. He made a few honest mistakes. Like,
look at that face.
Hey, this guy has stabbed people. Maybe we need to check him off and for anything sharp. This guy raped people. All right, we probably need to put him in protect. Like, no, they're just read the rap sheet and all right, go.
Oh, he's in Oz. He must be trustworthy.
Guess who you can blame for this? Tim McManus.
Not for long. He's fired now.
What was your guys' takes on this episode?
I mean, it was a good episode. It wasn't as good as the first one. I mean, there's still some few things. I feel like this episode is going to be maybe the most unrealistic episode so far of the show, but as long as it's entertaining, I'm okay with that. I thought the whole thing with Alvarez was ridiculous. But hey, I'm happy he escaped. So we're going to get a little bit of a break from Alvarez, hopefully. We'll see as going forward.
Being Alvarez and McManus done in one episode, this is like
Oh.
a fucking fever dream, buddy. I'm pumped.
But yeah, the funeral scene with McManus singing, that was just one of the most cringe things so far in the show. I'm so happy he's fired.
That was so uncomfortable.
And yeah, the only other thing I put here is Daniels needs to stick to the wire. He can't do good undercover work in Oz. And I feel bad for Herc. I mean, he only had a 2-episode stay, but he deserved better.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got introduced at the end of season episode 1 and died in 2.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Yeah, I feel like Oz maybe did a solid job up to this point of like skirting what really Oz is, and it's the male soap opera, like which is what Oz is. I think it did a good job of skirting that for a while. Now they've just this is what it is. It's what it is. Things happen. Are we sort of like in a fantasy land? Yeah, we are. Like we're not even kind of pretending we're not. Like this like Oz is basically like Lost without an island. Like without a magical island, and we're just kind of things are happening. Like, and every now and again a funny thing happens. I mean, still like O'Reilly. The like war he has with the Russian guy over a fucking cell phone is kind of fun. Like it proves that he's the best character in the show. I forgot that guy even existed until like we put him on O'Reilly's circle. And like, okay, I'll gladly do a couple episodes of this. This is fine. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, Alvarez left. All right, so nobody can kill him outside, even though I'm pretty sure that was also a somewhat write-off because I think this was around the time Band of Brothers was shooting, and he was in Band of Brothers. So I think they slightly wrote him off the show to shoot Band of Brothers.
Yeah. HBO is good about moving its people around.
So, final episode of Oz. We had basically it started with like the introduction of Warden, right? Going to be a part of running with governor,
they
right?
had the press conference for the governor about going over about the escape prisoners.
And everybody in Oz basically knows about that. Then they do the investigation of what the fuck happened with who's the guy that wants to kill Alvarez? What's his
Luis Guzman.
He's interviewed by Warden. Basically, he finds out information that Adebisi got the gun from Hughes, and he gets their question about Alvarez. Basically, he was like, "I fucking hate Alvarez. What the hell do you? Why would I know?" And he's like, "But I do have information." He says that Hughes gave him the gun, basically. So he calls Hughes in. Hughes comes in his African garb, like fully like dressed up after he'd been fired from his job. Man's been arrested. He's got him basically arrested. He's like, listen, I need to know. And he tells the truth. One of the best character gets introduced. What's his name? Morales?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's Morales.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Morales, the guy with the mustache, basically.
Yeah,
and working with the Italian family, basically. He basically tells him that Guzman. Well, he goes to Ribadao and he goes, "Listen, we need to take him out and you'll be the best person to do it. He's like, I can't do that. I don't kill. He's like, well, you ain't got a choice. It's either you or we're gonna kill you, or you're gonna kill him. Like, you can claim insanity, like he attacked you. No one will believe you, but you're gonna have to do it, and he does it. One of the craziest scenes, but he ends up stabbing him in the neck, and basically it affects Rivendell pretty bad. Like, he did, like, definitely that side got turned off a long time ago. Definitely didn't want to do that. Another Wire member shows up in this episode. What's his name in the Wire?
Lester.
Freeman. Yeah, he was a part of that, the crew. Yeah.
Yeah, about they're basically giving him advice of like being the lieutenant governor, like that stuff, right?
Well, kind of that, and they're talking about they need to get someone to replace McManus.
And a person of color, like they need to look at a black.
It would be great if he was black, you know.
Yeah, and then Lieutenant Daniels and Warden like speaks to him like, you can't do drugs, like you can't like doing this, like it's gonna get a lot more dangerous. And he's like, I'll be fine, like no problem. Like he's pretty confident about it. And then they proceed to lay out the Italians, the Muslims, everybody gathers around. Again, no officers in sight in that gymnasium. You can fucking do anything. They just lay 3 lines of coke down.
Actually, I noted it down here. I did spot a guard in the background of that scene, but they were just walking around not doing shit. So
I thought we've deduced that it's actually bad when the guards are in the gym. Like
Yes,
that
it is
things
true.
happen when the guards are actually in the gym.
Well, this dude snorts 3 lines of coke as they keep yelling, more. So, and then he gets back to his cell, and Hill's there, and he throws up on it. He's like, they put his ass in the hole. Basically, Warden goes in and goes, one of the best lines, minor setback. Like, motherfucker's twitching on the fucking floor. Yeah, this is the end. Saeed and his girl like discredit like they end up, I think, finally calling it off, right? Like they're
she's got her the lawsuit money came in, so she's leaving and going to California.
Yeah. The guy that the bad juror basically he gets a new trial. And that man did murdered somebody, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was accused of it. Who knows?
As we like to say, bad guy. Bad guy.
Then one of the craziest scenes, I think, like overall, like gut wrenching for a guy. He's sitting there with the crazy girl. And basically, he's like, no, I forgive you, all this. Like, I forgive you, like this thing. It's like, it's not even your kid. That's your dad's? Your dad assaulted me, basically, and it's his kid. And she gets hit, and of course gets hit and smiles at him, like.
Which I don't know if that's true or not, because pretty much it came as he came in. It was like, I forgive you and stuff. I want you to be buried next to our daughter. And she's like,
basically just used it to basically don't. Like, she wants to be in an unmarked grave.
So that may or may not be true. Who knows? But sucks for that guy.
Okay. This might be the worst brain fart I've had. But you remember in season 3 when the Russian dude was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they sprinkled the water on the things and it says, you'll be my last kill.
Mm-hmm.
50. Who does he kill?
I don't think he
Isn't it the
he's
not the Jewish guy?
Yeah, he killed that guy. Yeah. Yeah, Nikolai paid him to kill that guy. Or somebody paid him to kill that guy.
Because he's the one banging on the thing, but he's still alive in these, right? Are they not the same person? Am I losing my mind? Stick with me. The guy that took the cell phone.
Mm-hmm. No, that's Nikolai.
Okay, then who's the other guy?
That was the guy that Schillinger framed for the one murder. And then he said he was going to tell, and then they let him out.
That was the blade, right, to the neck?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about in the library where he dumps the water on the thing. Who does he kill in that scene? Isn't it that guy?
I think it might have been Nikolai, but I don't know if he killed him necessarily. I think he just stabbed him.
But he never heals? Is this one of the biggest... So I was sitting there this week, and I said, is this one of the biggest oversights in Oz? Because they don't do anything else with this guy. I'll still describe. Somebody will find that information.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
Tells him that then the main crux is Cyril and O'Reilly and Nathan all sit there and talks about how much he still loves her, and like then breaks the news that they were on a break, and like son already died, and O'Reilly just doesn't give a fuck and just like pours into it and keeps telling him. Keller's healing nicely from his 7th chances of death. And then the biggest news ever is Schillinger finds out that it's Beecher that found his son. He now thinks it's going to be the same result as his last son. So he's going to play the offensive, and he, from somebody on the outside, kidnaps Beecher's kids, and Beecher's inside jail. Whew. Rough scene. Matt, do you have anything of what my crazy conspiracy is?
So in the library, he attacked Nikolai. He stabbed him, but he didn't die. So then he went to the... He recovered.
But we don't see him ever recover, correct?
No, I mean, he goes to the hospital, and then I guess he comes back.
But do we see him in the hospital ever?
I mean, he might have been. We might have seen him in the hospital towards the end of last season, maybe. But
I don't think so. I think this is a bad oversight from them. I really do. I'll have to revisit some stuff, but I think this is one of the worst oversights.
But an oversight is the guy that stabbed him, though. He kind of just like disappeared from the show.
Yes, both of them.
Yeah.
They actually, this storyline never happened.
Well, Nikolai comes back because he's here in this season, but
no, right? But they don't they don't touch back what happened in this scene.
Yeah, I guess he just doesn't feel like talking about it,
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. How's everybody's viewing on this?
So did you talk about the meeting with the O'Reillys and the Nathan and all that, and then Ryan kind of has her raped. And then,
that
bad guy, bad guy.
Oh yeah, that's my bad. He ends up setting up a flipping for her to get assaulted.
Yeah,
because he loves her.
O'Reilly, bad guy, real bad guy, the worst bad guy. Nathan just happens to work in the hospital and lost her husband.
She helped him get through his breast cancer. Reward was her husband getting killed. With him
because he's because she won't be with him because he is locked away in jail. Bad guy, real bad guy. Arguably the worst guy.
But he's so charismatic that you can't help but root for him.
If Video Star does anything, we do need a T-shirt or cups or stickers. Bad guy. Real bad guy. I need that made ASAP, like in quotes. Bad guy, real bad guy.
But yeah, the only other thing in this episode we missed too is that they find the mole. They tracked him down because he was found outside of Miss Sally's house, creeping around the house.
Jesus Christ! I forgot about that.
Oh wait, did we? Oh, he didn't bring up the guy like a Carver came back, and he came back like in his African garb
Oh,
to
yeah.
say to admit that he left the gun, which I thought
Yeah.
was the funniest goddamn thing I'd
Yeah.
ever
Well,
seen
yeah.
in the show. It like I had to pause it.
We've
I
discovered
brought-
people from The Wire don't do good on Oz.
I brought that up. Yeah, he shows up in his full African garb, but it's
Yeah.
just like, and then he just automatically just admits to it because it's like a higher power, like tells him, hey, sure, buddy.
I don't remember if we see him again like as a prisoner in Oz, but that's gonna be the most crazy stuff if he comes back as a prisoner. But stay tuned, I guess. Oh, yeah, crazy stuff.
Again, you guys done?
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean,
You guys will talk some more about it. So yeah, great overall episodes. But yeah, I totally forgot about the mole and Miss Sally. That's fucking wild. Of course they did.
Good start to the season, that's for sure. So I
Yes.
think it's definitely.
Again,
I'm looking
this
forward to the
is
rest of the
going to be
season.
this is going to be the true test. Again, we know that this show takes the longest because it has 75 storylines. And we have to run all of them. So we're 50 minutes still, Miles. Maybe that's just how the run actually works because everything else is like a cohesive one story.
And in these
we're on
3
to
episodes alone, 10 kills. So cool.
10 kills. Dang.
Yeah.
a couple of big ones too. And I think we mentioned El Cid died, but he was back in season 2. So I mean, he was
Yeah.
another kind of big death.
Yeah, Cody was just complaining about no big characters dying. Now we lost Brisk, so we lost El Cid.
I think this show is going to be the true test this season because it's double the episodes. So can they keep it and make it cohesive enough? Even I will give them credit if it's 8 and 8 and it feels like 2 different seasons. But
yeah,
as long
it is
as
pretty much
holds,
2 different. But yeah.
But I need it to be at least good. So we'll find out. So Breaking Bad, everybody ready, or you need to talk anything else? Okay. So confirmed. Just we haven't done this in a while. Bad guys from the Oz. We are putting Adebisi, Schillinger, and O'Reilly all in the bad guy, like very bad guy.
And McManus is a cringe guy.
Yeah, McManus is the guy on. If he had social media at the time, would have posted. I guess I'm just going to have to look within myself because I don't have any true friends anymore. Like he would have posted that status on Facebook, and just for people to comment, "What's wrong, buddy? You want somebody to talk to?" Yeah, no one cares, McManus. You're a bitch. Episode 8. I see you. Jesse Pinkman is getting out of the hospital. I love the scene where he's like sitting there, it's like no smoking or whatever, and he still just lights up like he doesn't give a shit.
Push me further.
Push me further. Some crazy lines. And then he is there when Hank rolls in from getting shot. So basically, that ends up happening. Sad but true. The most awkward breakup probably in the show. Walt has to break up with Gail. And Jesse walks. He's like, "What's up, man? What's up? This thing's fucking lit." And Gail's like,
"What the fuck?
That's who I can't compete with this guy." He's basically like, "You don't know him like Walt's got to basically like you don't know him like I know him. Like he's a good guy.
It's not you, it's me.
Misunderstood.
But it is you because you suck.
Yeah, because you're too good. I need a bad guy. I need a bad guy. So then basically Jesse's like, "Have you been here the whole time?" "Yeah." "Do you not? I called you, like your phone doesn't work down here. Have you heard about your family?" Like he breaks the news that Hank's been shot, so he has to leave. He ends up leaving the situation, goes to the hospital. One of the heartbreaking scenes, Marie finds out that they took his gun, so he had nothing to really protect himself in that situation, and basically tells him like the DEA, like you can leave, like you do not deserve to be here, like leave. So it's like that situation. She gets mad at Walt too, right?
A little bit, yeah, because he introduced Jesse Pinkman into this life and all that stuff.
Jesse Pinkman, but Skyler's able to talk him out. He's sitting there, and he gets a page like, "Hey, on the courtesy desk, Walter White," which Skylar gives the look like knows exactly Skylar's fully in. She knows exactly what's going on, but still tries to play it dumb. And one of the coolest moments, like he gets off the phone, he goes, "You'll never guess who that is," and she just like looks at him and walks away. Like she has no interest in like his fucking lie. Skylar point. I don't give them out often. That's a Skylar point. Good job, Skylar. Uh, I don't know if it's the meth. I don't know if it's the change after his cancer. Walters just can't talk to people anymore. Can't talk to fucking when he's sitting down talking about meal while fucking Hank is dying upstairs and like just pouring his heart out, like real awkward scene. So he needs to just stop talking. Jesse, Gus gets a phone call from the cartel guy in Mexico. Basically is like, "This is your doing, like I assure you it's not, like nothing to do with it, like I don't know what you're talking about. Your men went on a hunt for him, basically, like that's what ended up happening." Learn about that more later. Everybody and their sisters at this hospital, all the cops, they end up going to see the guy that got smashed, one of the cousins, by the smash, and he sees Walt and he leaps out of bed and just starts like crawling for him, like
because he has no legs.
No legs, just fucking creepy.
I don't know what his plan was, but
and then you leave Jesse in a meth lab by himself for too long. Man's just fucking loony bin. Basically Gus is like one of like his head like guys is like overseas and him just like fucking around with it, which causes Gus reaches out to him and asks is like he's still keeping the thing, like Gus knows what happened to Hank. Gus knows that Hank and Walt are connected. Walt does not know that this connection has been made by them.
He thinks he can lie to Gus.
He thinks he can lie, which he knows exactly like he's lying. And you see his like again, his acting with no eyebrow. Like I don't know how much Botox is in his face, or how he's just able to keep just a blank stare while he's talking. But it's one of the most menacing looks that he can possibly give. Well, guess who shows up to the hospital? Gus. Gus Fring shows up to the hospital bringing chicken for everybody there, and basically like has that conversation. And like Walt and him, again, Gus is such a brilliant villain in this show, but like they're trying to explain everything. He brings up the moment that I saw Walt's thing outside the thing, so I knew, like, sorry for all this happening. Walt, knowing he lied to Gus, tries to like make it right by like going downstairs and talks to him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a man of my word," or whatever. And then at the end, he's like, "Now shake my hand and thank me," and like just puts it off. Like
Walt tries to have this conversation in a room with like 20 DEA agents.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like Gus has been able to keep everything under wraps, and he's like trying to blow it up right in front of it. And he like basically says, "Shake my hands." The other cousin dies. The last one dies, and then I think arguably I don't pay attention, especially in movies like this, but one of the coolest shots ever is Gus gets the phone call from the cartel guys, and like this we're going to settle this, like this is going to be war. He hears the doors get open, and basically gunfire rains out. Gus breaks the phone, throws it in the trash can, and goes right back into his restaurant. Basically puts the world behind him and does that, like goes back into his normal life after he just literally led an execution on the cartel down there. I think it's overall great. Hank is out as they're able to see him, and that's how the episode ends. Okay, thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's a pretty solid episode. I'll just go. It was a pretty solid episode. I think it's a nice jumping off point from where we were at from 1 minute. I thought it was kind of funny just how dumb Walt is for the majority of this episode. Just for whatever reason, like, cause he knows that Gus is smart, so there's no reason to believe why he doesn't already know his brother-in-law's DEA, and why he's trying to have this conversation in the middle of all these cops. Like, it's just silly as hell. I mean, and yeah, forgot that this was. It was also kind of a nice thing of, okay, like Gus just uses this as the opportunity to just get one over on the cartel, which, man, I know we're slight nod into stuff that will happen in the future leads into a very good storyline in the next season.
Matt?
Yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. It's probably the best of these three here. I thought it was kind of good seeing how everyone reacts to Hank's crisis there, seeing the family come together and everything. I love that after the cousin pretty much dies, you kind of see Mike kind of sneak around in the background, so you get to put two and two together. I thought that was a nice little thing without just like making that too obvious. But yeah, all the stuff with Walt and Gus. Gus is fantastic in this episode, as he is in pretty much every episode. I still feel bad for Gail. I feel like Walt was such a dick when he could have done that a much better way, but Walt is Walt, so that's how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Next episode. It starts with like Apoyo's Hermanos, like a commercial basically, and shows basically how they're getting the meth out places. So they basically put it into the food containers, puts them on the trucks, and ships them, and basically puts it inside like the breading or whatever the mix is, like for the frying, to basically cover the trail so dogs can't sniff into it. They have a foolproof system. It's pretty genius. Um, and then it goes into like them like cooking. Basically, Jesse's like, you took the worst deal that you could have ever taken in your life. Like 3 months, $3 million, which is 1.5 each. And he's basically like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, this is like $200 million, like in the stuff, like whatever. And Walt's like, dude, you like don't get it. Like, we could have never made this on the street. This is the best, like everything. Like,
You're
Walt's
complaining about being
realistic.
a millionaire.
Yeah, and Walt's like, you're not satisfied with even the little bit you're getting. Like, that's just crazy. So that's over there. He gets mad at him. We get back to Hank in the hospital. His fucking partner read the goddamn room. Like, holy shit, the dude just got shot by these guys, and he's like talking to him about the blue. Like, it's blue. It's still out there. Like, it's showing up all here. You were right. I fucking think he was right, dumbass. Like, he knew he was right. Like, hey, Hank never had a question if he was right or not. Jesse's still in rehab, going to that. They're talking about getting him to like walk and stuff. The rehab basically breaks down of like how much it's going to cost to do like the therapy and all that stuff for him. Saul gives Jesse a lesson on money laundering and how that should work and how that looks, and he needs to buy a nail salon. One of the, I argue, one of the best scenes in Breaking Bad. I don't know how you guys will agree. I understand this, and it's not like action packed, but the sit down between between Walt and Gus in the trailer, basically the talk of like, I think that you intervened for that. So, like, he basically lays down Gus's plan to him and tells him what, and he's right about what happens, which is crazy. Like, and I think that's like the Gus is like, I think Gus gets a clue into Walt. Like, Walt's a lot smarter than because in very short time he's able to draw the line that connects what happened, and I don't think he works with people that often. So he's not like any indication. Like Gus doesn't really say anything, but how his body language and how he like looks, that's the vibe I've always gotten from it. But I love the scene. I think it's one of the best scenes. And then Walt basically drives really fast, closes his eyes, and almost wrecks his car and destroys everything. So windshield's still intact so far. Good job. And then Jesse back in rehab. I think it's the. I'm not saying it's over, but it like Skylar kind of puts the kibosh on Ted for right now. Like Ted like tries to force him like in the situation, and it all happened. Like he doesn't know how to read a room. Shocker to that, and like puts him out. Jesse talks with Badger and
Skinky.
skimping stuff off the top to sell the stuff also to make more. That's sure. You just got punched in the face multiple times by a DEA agent. Everybody knows you're in this shit, and then now what you're going to do is you're going to try to sell to rehab groups. Bold strategy. These guys that already probably have lost so much are going to do this. And then the crux of the episode, basically, Skylar breaks down to Marie of they're going to help with his expenses, and how he won the money is because he can count cards. Okay, sure. Whatever. It's one of the dumbest like loopholes I get. Everybody treats it like it's like fucking Picasso. Like I just created the sit. Like I did this great scheme. Okay, sure, buddy. Whatever you want. But yeah. Overall thoughts on this episode. It's hard back to it. I think it's gotta. It was like hitting the ramp. We hit the ramp, and having to come down before we go back up. Like nice roller coaster. So like, because I remember when friends would watch this, like this section after 1 minute, they're like, oh, it's boring. I'm like, every episode can't be 1 minute. If every episode was 1 minute, there would be no tension in the situation. So like, you gotta pick and choose like your overall battle. So overall, I like the episode. But again, there's great moments. I understand if it's not a brilliant episode at that point.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good, it's a solid episode. It's a good episode. I like you said, the scene with Walt and Gus is amazing. When he's talking about if they want to extend the contract to a year for like $15 million, which I don't think Jesse would be too happy about that deal either. But he's not there to negotiate. The scene with them in the group trying to get all the addicts interested in the blue meth is bad guys, all around bad guys everywhere. And then
Bad guy.
I can't defend Skylar anymore. She's got to that point when she goes into that whole story with Marie. But I love, my favorite part about that is even in this bullshit hypothetical story, Walt still got a little bit of ego, and he's still a little bit of proud in the scenario where he came up with this. He perfected the system that allowed him to win all this gambling. So I thought that was cool that even in this situation, Walt still can't help but be Walt. But yeah, overall, it's a good, solid episode. Good little character moments. And like you said, it needs to kind of build and kind of get back to where we're going to get in these next 3 episodes.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned kind of how things are kind of leveling out at this point. I think we'll have more to explore on that once we get into the next episode. Yeah, I mean, it like, listen, like we can't, like we're not gonna get like a explosion of action we got in 1 minute. It's fine, but I always remember, although I always remember this stretch of episodes, because it's like, well, we had this gigantic moment in the middle of the season, and then we are kind of easing back into it, and this, I don't want to fully label these episodes as that, but they are kind of episodes that we're getting through. We kind of got to get through this to get to like this other stuff. Like, not to say that there aren't good moments here. I think there are good moments, and they definitely shape for what we're gonna get eventually. it's just okay. Like we gotta. All right, we're gonna talk about what Hank's insurance is gonna cover. All right, and the gambling story I do kind of like, just in the sense that okay, like this is kind of the first step for Skylar, in the sense like she's not turning back, like she's just in it now. Like they're like there she's not gonna go anywhere, which in the sense I think is the her arc of what makes her truly unlikable. I think this is kind of for me. This is when it starts. Okay, this is when Skylar goes to being kind of a bad person, and like we definitely should like her at this point.
I don't feel like this next episode we'll spend a lot of time on. This will probably be our quickest discussion. This is what's in TV known as a bottle episode. Um, Basically, you save all your resources for future stuff. You just put your main casted bills, and no one else is really featured in this episode. It's Jesse and Walt the entire time. Basically, there's a fly inside the lab. It drives Walt fucking nuts. It's a contamination in his eyes. Um, he's trying to take it down. He falls, he breaks and stuff. Jesse shows up to do it, and he's turned off like the ventilation and the thing, like made it like the outside's not coming in right now. We have to control the situation. And basically, they just have a long, lengthy conversation, like over times. Like he talks about Jane's dad in the situation, like he was there the night right before Jane's dad ended up doing the situation. Um, I always got the hint, like he thought in this episode of bringing up the Jane situation. It's not ever like, but he definitely gives it some thought, and he decides to bury that one deep down inside still.
He apologized.
Yeah. But overall, I think it's a fine episode. It's just, if you want my honest opinion, it's my least favorite episode of Breaking Bad of the entire season. Like, they're good moments, but when you've already know what happens in this episode, it is a hard rewatch for this episode because like I just don't fully care fully. Mark, you look like you disagree. Yep, there it is. Police procedural. Here we go.
I think I'm going to preface this. I think the first half of this episode kind of dumb, 100%. We get to the second half though, and the second half I think is actually pretty interesting. Just in the sense
it's interesting. I don't disagree.
Like just in the sense that I kind of like what the fly in here the fly represents is this kind of this thing that's in the room that prevents Jesse and Walt from going forward, and eventually gets played up as in the Jane of it all. And I think it plays really well into like conversation we had a couple weeks ago, or I can't exactly remember. How much does Walt care about Jesse? And I think this adds an interesting ring to that, in the sense of there is something that is actually emotional inside of Walt, where he does care about Jesse, because you see that he is genuinely dealing with guilt and remorse for what this did to Jesse. He hates seeing Jesse all torn up about Jane's death, but at the same, like he's torn up like a father would to a child. Like he really wants to just take this burden off of him, but he also knows like it would just kill the relationship, and like I can't tell him for any reason. And we also have him like thinking about his own mortality, like, which is crazy. Like I think it's kind of crazy deep for this show, just because like even though like we get a lot of like cool story stuff in Breaking Bad, I don't really feel like a lot of times it kind of we kind of stop and think about character motivations and their emotions and stuff. I just think it's I do think like this is a little bit weird. I mean, come on, we really don't. But I do think like it's a little
The whole
weird.
show is built off of Walter White and his motivations of why he does what he does. What? Are you talking about Jesse?
I don't think this show like really stops and takes time and like explores like his feelings in a sense of like kind of while going in there. I think this episode kind of does something that I think the show doesn't do. I do think like I do
I've
think this
never disagreed more with you in my entire life, but that's fair.
like I just want to say one last thing, at least on the bottle episode thing. I do think it's kind of a bottle episode that honestly feels weird when it's not like in a 22 episode show, which I think kind of stems why a lot of people have their issue with this episode, because like that's what people like about these shorter season shows. Like, we can just kind of get to the story, and every episode kind of matters. And for the most part, we throw a bottle episode in there just so that we can kind of take a break from the narrative. And it's also super the placement of this episode's also really weird. Like, hey, we just had 1 minute happen where, it's maybe our biggest moment in the show ever. And in a few episodes, we're gonna grind things down to a halt to have Jesse think about Jane, and Walt is going to contemplate his mortality. Like, okay, guys, why not? Let's do that.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of a little in between because I remember watching this episode when the show was on, and I remember getting pissed off then because then you waited for like a whole week, then you got to wait a whole another week. But I don't think it's as bad when you're actually binging through the show. I think it's got a couple of nice little character moments in between Walt and Jesse. Walt's crazy in this episode. I mean, he's not sleeping good, and like I said, he's got some guilt eating away at him. For as smart as the guy is, he does some really stupid shit trying to kill this fly. The part where he's reaching over and ends up falling off from the second floor landing there. He probably should have killed himself right there. Show's over. But yeah, I think one of the big things too about this episode is directed by Ryan Johnson, who is pretty much going to go on to direct some of the best, if not one of the best episodes of the show in later seasons. So I think this is a good introduction for him to see what he can do. So yeah, I mean, good stuff. But it's like I said, it's all building up to these next 3 episodes, which are good stuff. So
Character motivation is one of the worst lines I've ever heard. This man will battles every episode with what he's doing. I guess this time we don't have any action to like take him away from it because he's just in there. But agreed to disagree, respectfully.
I mean, in all honesty, I feel like if Full and Half Measure didn't exist, this probably would have been the episode they submitted for Emmy consideration. And this is all acting by Bryan Cranston in this episode.
No, I agree with you though. That's 100%. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, Ryan Johnson's direction is he's got three of them, and he literally owns the best episode of TV. Probably TV history. It's again, I still talk about it. 218,000 reviews in, and the motherfucker still sits 10 out of 10. Like, that's crazy. The internet has never been united on anything ever. You know what? And I guarantee I would say of the 218, I don't think many people know who directed that episode. So, can't wait to talk about that. That might be an episode by itself. Okay. All right. We're on to The Wire. Everybody ready? Ready for a police procedural?
I hate you.
I don't make up the words. They put it there.
But those can be edited by anybody.
No, they can't.
They might as well be because it's a bunch of garbage.
That's fair. There is one I'm going to give. I have been critical of The Wire in the past. Of the setup. I love that we just don't waste any time. We don't, can we get enough money? Can we get a unit? Can we do this? Can we build that? Can we build the team back together? No, we're just fucking back in The Wire. Like, we don't give a fuck in this season, which I loved. I was like, okay, cool. I don't need to. Oh, do we have? What room are we going to be in this time? Are we going to be in a school? I was thinking like a school or a church or something was going to be the layout because that just only made sense to me. Of like, what setting are we in this time? We decided to say fuck it, so that's good. I hate the we went away from the document, went right back to it. The towers are getting destroyed. That's one of the big moments that happened. The wire's already set up. Jimmy and them are in that house, and they go and see Method Man basically on the call. As they step in dog shit in the house, made my stomach curl, but that's fine. New lady on part of the wire. I don't know what she is, but she speaks. She understands. I have the loudest cars. I just have the loudest cars that have ever driven by my house since I've lived in this house. Just came by. They heard me talking and said, "Oh, fuck that guy."
That guy called the wire police procedural. Let's go get
him. But she understands what they're saying on the wire, because I'll tell you who doesn't. Perez has no fucking clue. Doesn't get anything. Ellis and Herc basically run like a, I don't know what you call this in a police procedural, but they basically set up an opportunity to like
the Shaft police
a raid.
I'm not going to fully disagree with you, because this is kind of what like the quote unquote cool like raid looks like. They're trying to act like the cool cops, but really they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. I kind of like that about this.
Ellis stands up and goes, "If you come out now, I'll let you off here. But if we have to pull your asses out of the bushes, I'll beat the fuck out of you." I was like,
sounds like a fucking asshole.
Good cops.
Bad guy. But not to say that I teased it, but the group is in a funeral home. They're having a meeting in the funeral home. I was like, these motherfuckers don't miss. These guys, we've done strip clubs, but this is now where dead bodies go. I liked it. I laughed really hard. Stringer got in that one kid's face. Like,
it's maybe the funniest moment of the whole show. He's like, "We're gonna act like businessmen." He's like, "They're gonna know we're some bitches, motherfucker." I would.
It's so funny. So they're introducing, and I may be misreading this, but they're introducing more police captains this season than we know of at this point.
Yeah, we're just kind of going. We're kind of seeing what the leadership is kind of going through at this point. Like that's
because to be transparent, this season so far, what I know of it is very political motivation. It's very like mayor homicide, cracking down, stuff like that. And there's just more like we've got the old guy. Like they just show more like police like leadership than we've seen in time past. Basically, they're all responsible in their own separate wire situations, districts, and they're getting pressure from the top. Is how I've deemed this episode going. Bubbles and his buddy scratch a guy's car and almost get killed.
Losing
basically.
Not just anybody. Marlo Stanfield. That's when you meet.
Get a good introduction to him. Do it or don't. I got a place to be.
Yeah. One of my favorite TV characters of all time is introduced, and I understand why he plays this everywhere. Littlefinger's here.
It's like
slimy.
He doesn't grandson.
He doesn't know how to play. He's just a slimy motherfucker in everything he does. Like his family can't trust him at this point at all. Like, can you pass the mashed potatoes? What do I get out of it? And then he'll take the mashed potatoes and sell them to the aunt down the street and not even give it to him. Like that's what he does. Fucking shady bastard. Basically, he sits down with, what is that officer's name? I can't ever remember it. It's the Burrell. Yeah. He sits down with Burrell and basically goes, if you need anything, like push through, like go with me. And he goes, the one thing I learned long ago is chain of command. Like I do not break the chain of command. Well, That doesn't sit well with Littlefinger at all. I do not give a fuck what his name is. I will only call. I cannot look at that man's face without. Avon and the group are in jail. Avon's talking about like him getting out. Like that's like right. The cover like he's coming up for parole soon.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna
coming
be
up.
getting out when he gets up for parole,
Mhm.
and Cuddy's getting out right now after a
I know what
14-year
you mean.
stretch, I think it was.
We get to
Like-
see an awkward situation at the Orioles game that happens. Jimmy
yeah.
and his partners up there with the kid, while old geezer basically and his kids are down in club level seats. They have that interaction. Basically, his partner's getting called out, like he has to leave, and Jimmy's stuck with the kids. At the Orioles game. One of the most ridiculous requests I've seen in anything ever is to drop the homicide rates in your city. Huh? You want me to be there when they all die? Like, yeah, okay, sure, buddy. We can barely catch drug dealers. Now you want us to stop bullets from whatever, fuck it. Crazy. And the one guy is like close to retirement or close to like done, like he's leaving. And he's like, fuck that way. And of course, Rawls is like all up in his like fucking ego fest. That's something we missed in season 2. We didn't get a lot of Rawls in season 2 of The Wire.
A lot in the beginning of the season, not so much.
Just him trying to get those dead girls off his books. So once that happened,
yeah, he got them off of him. That's about it. Officer's name again? We just Burrell.
Yep. The acting commissioner.
Look at that, I remembered.
Yeah.
He sits down in front of Littlefinger and just gets ripped to shreds, right? Isn't that what happens?
Mm-hmm.
And basically realizes real quick why he doesn't. And yeah. Okay, I don't know this character. I don't know if I missed his name. But there's a guy that gets out of prison. Big old guy.
Yeah, Cuddy.
Basically. Cuddy, okay.
Cuddy, yeah.
And he is I don't got a lot from him in the first episode, but he's showing up in places. What I will say.
Yeah, he got out of prison. He got a package of to sell off, like if he wants to, and he sends it to that guy Fruit when a Marlowe's boys sell it off for him. And what do you know? Fruit, says he lost it. Yeah, but they got it, like, and I got no money for you, and it sucks to be you, basically.
Yeah, and then the final thing is a kid tries to sell drugs basically to the cop.
Yeah,
what the fuck
out.
is that?
That was
funny. The hat is what gave it away? The
like,
dude
you hear
is
them
wearing a button up
5-0.
with gold things. Like, is that just supposed to show how dumb the crime is getting, or what? Like,
I think it's that, and it's kind of showing that he's kind of getting to a breaking point. He's getting frustrated with the crime and everything, and how
like they don't even take him seriously at this point.
Yeah, everything they're doing isn't amounting to anything.
Well, we'll see later on that particular kid is not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah, everyone else is just laughing at him after he does.
Hold on. Mark, you think I'm going to need future evidence that kid is not the brightest?
I mean,
Perez shot his gun.
If you're thinking maybe he just had a bad day, then
Perez shot his gun one time, and he was in fucking purgatory with me for a season and a half, and he was solving shit, and I wanted to execute him. So I hold grudges pretty strongly. Episode 2. What were you guys' take on season 1? Episode 1 of this season.
I mean, yeah, it's a really solid episode. Like you said, it starts. We're already going. We don't have a lot of the setup, at least for the detail and stuff. It does introduce a lot of new characters who are going to be really big parts of this season and going forward. My favorite part of the episode, though, that you kind of touched on a little bit, is the prison, the baseball game where Avon just walks across the field and everyone just stops. and waits for him to walk across the field. It just shows a little bit of Avon's power in the joint. But yeah, great stuff.
No, just a couple things to add real quick. The got a little bit more of Bubbles. I think Bubbles is kind of wanting. We started to see like maybe he doesn't want to be the dope fiend anymore. Mentioned that the wire is that they have the wire up, but they're not getting a whole lot of it. They're getting a little pressure to end that thing off real quick. We kind of saw it kind of near the end of last episode that Daniels and his wife were kind of drifting apart. Now they're fully split up, but he is helping to run for city council, so he's a decent guy. And then at the end, we see McNulty is starting to shake some things up in the Barksdale world, and he wants to look up D'Angelo, see like what was going on his thing. Although, did want to touch on a thing. I think this is the part of the show where I do think the Wire starts to get funner because, like, I mean, I mentioned that great scene like when they're in the funeral home and like Stringer's like like almost beats up Poot for just say, like saying they're punk ass bitches. Like it's like we get a almost like a similarly good scene, like just peak comedy. Like when you mentioned it, Cody, like Bunny Colvin is like, hey, how do you make a body disappear? And Rawls is just glaring at him like he wants to murder him in that room. Like, listen, man, I'm being told. I'm just being told like what to do. Like, we gotta lower the murder rate. That's what I'm telling you to do. You figure it out.
Yeah. I do think there's funnier moments so far in this one, and I just feel like even after episode one, actually these 3 episodes, I feel like this is more of a direction that the show's on than what I think it was what they were missing in season 2. Personally,
Sure. They're definitely more focused this time around, like where they're going here.
Yeah. So episode 2, all due respect. Stringer and Avon have that conversation at the jail. I don't really remember what was truly discussed. You guys probably Mark probably knows the quote for
Well,
quote.
like well, yeah, they talked about kind of their new strategy after the towers went down because I think Stringer was telling them like, hey, we wanted to spread out our package to all the dealers around so that we're making money off of that, which is a smart way to do about it. But Avon's like, well, we got to get some good corners, which, well, unfortunately, that'll be a thing to go on. Although I'm surprised you started there because your favorite character like has the cold open, like the cold open of cold opens, like for Omar, honestly.
That's true. That's my bad. Yes, I forgot about him dressing up as the old. Yeah.
His Bugs Bunny like plot to steal the truck stash.
Genius. I forgot about that. Don't know why I forgot about that, but I forgot about that. Basically, I think their strategy is like kind of implemented after they meet in the conversation because they're like talking about like coming into each other's corners. Like there's that talk between a lot of guys that we don't really know. A lot of bad acting, if you want my honest opinion, but I guess you can give and take. They're not going to be in here for future episodes. Old police officer and Littlefinger kind of have that say us. I'll say it again. Chaos is a ladder. Basically, it describes Littlefinger's plot. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. If you don't, you'll make him look stupid because crime is up in the air and you look good in the press. Like, I see. He basically sees right through his bullshit, which is funny to see. Dog fighting. Yeah, I could do without that anytime ever in the future. Just dog whines are just nails on like one of the worst sounds ever for me, so I'm not a big fan of that. So that ends up happening. What's his name?
Burrell.
Burrell.
Burrell and Littlefinger have a sit down conversation basically of like if I don't side with you, you're just gonna publicly like humiliate me. Is that what's gonna basically happen? And he's like, pretty much, yeah. I'm like, because he treats it like a game. What else happens in this episode? Murder. fucking brutal walk up behind a guy and just fucking blast him. Not doing very good on the murder rate, because I'll tell you, bodies be dropping. They be dropping a lot.
I mean, that one was just over a dog, so then
That's true.
people murdering
Hey,
for no reason.
I was criticized all last season because there was a certain thing that happened that just didn't make a whole lot of fucking sense.
One person was listening to you.
I mean,
Jimmy,
I didn't really want to say it up until now.
Jimmy thinks it's bullshit too. And what the fuck is going on? Why is Jimmy and everybody, like, months after the fact, let's look into this shit.
You've been watching Oz. Do you see them investigate these murders and deaths in Oz?
Scott Ross, yes.
One. That's because they thought a cop did it.
I thought it was hilarious. So he's like, I'm sorry, you guys. I know I think this is where me and Mark's friendship just goes to die. But when he has to reiterate that he put it around his neck and just sat down, no one in that room, like, it's a fucking word that he just said. Like, huh? Like, what? And, like, it takes 3 minutes. And you know what's even worse? He sits down and does I don't know if it's this episode, it's one of these 2 episodes, but he does the sit down and just is like, just makes no sense at all. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, so they think it's bullshit. New fill-in lady is like breaking down all the information. Like she can now, she's basically working for the team in that regard. So she's now like the main listener to The Wire. What else do I miss this episode?
They brought in Method Man for they were trying to figure out what happened to his dog.
Yes,
and who he killed. Which that kind of ended up not working out for him.
Right.
Gave up their wire for a dog. Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Lieutenant Daniels had a good night.
He did.
Hell yeah,
a lot of skin. That's the ambition that she's been looking for. The other cop is like, we're sending more time on him, so I guess like he's going to be a focal point, like that captain, like the one with the homicide rates that are not like.
Bunny Colvin,
yeah.
A lot of foreboding, I would say, from him in these 3 episodes.
He had the good speech this episode about the paper bags on the alcohol, and think about maybe doing something similar for the drugs.
I thought it was very funny that Herc and Ellis are on movie date night and then run into them basically out.
You guys go to the movies?
That and they also had that funny back and forth thing of like, all right, you can have any girl you want, but you just gotta choose a guy. They do that throughout the whole time.
I had to check. The Olsen twins just turned 18 this year, so Herc was on that countdown.
It's okay because we know he'd have sex with like some catcher from the 80s.
I mean, you know that's a setup. You never give the answer. You're never gonna live that down. We were all in school. We know that.
Does Jimmy go? Jimmy goes to D'Angelo's, like, or who does he go to? He goes.
Yeah,
to
he goes and talks to his D'Angelo's ex and sees the baby and stuff. Yeah. And she's also been calling Stringer, and Stringer hasn't been answering her phone calls. So.
Nope.
Yeah. Rawls basically undresses that captain in front of everybody. He's like, you got 4 bodies within 2 blocks and you can't connect the fucking dots. Shocker, Mike just woke up. Just messed up. He left a 4-letter word. I'll let your mystery take that one.
We show the police how they're kind of fudging the arrests and stuff, so they're not as bad. kind of giving people so they're trying to fudge the numbers, make them look a little bit better.
Yeah.
One little bit in this episode I loved is when Herc and Carver are out there, and they ask the kid where you get those sideways hats from. I always go look at them. I don't see the ones with the hat in the front. Oh no, they're the same. You just got to turn it.
Which is the same kid that tried to sell Bunny drugs. So he is just an idiot, not a smart guy.
Yeah, good episode overall.
Yeah, what's your guys' thoughts on it? I didn't love it as much as episode 1.
I mean, it's still fun. Like I'm kind of like
I'm
you,
shocked.
Cody. Like just it's I think just in season 3 we're just kind of getting off the ground running here, and also I just kind of love, even though it feels familiar, but we are encroaching on just some new territories as we're approaching kind of the city council and kind of the inner city government, and also how we're kind of also looking at things for just more from a macro point of view. Like we're kind of looking in the leadership and all the bullshit that they got to put up with. I like that a lot. Although, no, just a few things. We kind of covered. I think probably the only thing like we probably didn't touch on here was how the episode ends, which leads into Bunny's big talk with everybody. Is that Dozerman got shot, which really was the thing that gets Bunny to think, you know what, maybe there's a different way we could police around here, and we just got to figure it out.
Yeah. Matt, your take? Did you say your piece?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is a good episode too. It's moving the story along. You get a lot of cool character moments, like you said. I mean, it's definitely picked up the humor of this season. Like I put on here that McNulty heard Cody's complaints about D'Angelo's suicide, so he's on the case.
I didn't really want to say it before. Like, we all knew it was Bush League. It was gonna come up again, obviously, but
no, you just made me feel crazy. You just you didn't want to ruin it, but you made me feel fucking crazy.
Well, I thought it was crazy that you just didn't realize that he died.
Because
I thought they at least showed that. I mean, it's not the most realistic.
Strangled him to death. Like, we saw it happen.
For 3 seconds. Come here, Mark. Give me a belt. Give me a belt. I'm going to show you. You don't die in 3 seconds. What the fuck are we talking about? I'm pretty sure the girl in 50 Shades of Grey got choked longer than that in her movies than this, and she didn't die.
I mean, doesn't matter. We're past it. We know that he wasn't a suicide, and Jimmy's gonna right the wrong, so we're good. All right,
Jimmy's got your back.
I'm not pro trying to take your life, but if you try to sit down with a doorknob, it's not gonna work for you. I just want that on the record. Oh man! So the next episode, Dead Soldiers. I never saw this coming. Basically, they're relieving somebody of their duties because they have enough killings on their hands. Yeah, you think? Like, they've been warning you for 2 fucking episodes to get your shit together. No one's listening. Now they're firing people. And he's like, "Go take the podium." Like, bitch, I didn't put this PowerPoint together. I don't know. Omar and his gang of misfits are stalking another house, basically checking in on it. Big Boy and Schillinger, not Schillinger, holy shit, Stringer. What the fuck? It's late. My apologies. They have that meeting. Can we also introduce like one of the best like cops of the history with the most thick like accent? I don't know, the white guy with the gray the fucking mustache that just I don't know his name. He's greeted with the he's working with the other officer that has terrible. He's got one of the thickest accents. Yeah, like sounds like just a good old boy from I don't know, man. Like, it's so funny to me. Like, mood change altogether. What else?
Looking at a lot of vacant properties for no particular reason though.
Yeah, like it's like a ghost town. Like, basically everything's like open.
What's he gonna do?
Littlefinger, yeah, I wonder what's happening. Oh, crazy, who knows what's going to happen in this situation. Littlefinger basically gets the call that says they're not doing like a rookie class of cops.
Mhm.
Basically selling to the press. Basically, he's on the phone with who's he on the phone with?
Your favorite guy.
I know he was talking to a reporter, yeah,
He,
at one
he,
point.
he's talking to a reporter, but he's then gets a phone conversation with Burrell, who is
Burrell,
not happy.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
happy.
Burrell. He's like, why don't you just tell him
Uncomfortable.
that and bring it up? He's like, why the fuck would I do that? Like that just sets him up for a bad situation. Omar and them take a house, basically. They get into it, and then there's an upstairs that they do not like reconcile, but they do not like clear or do anything. There's groups of stuff. It becomes a massive shootout, and one of his like soldiers, dead soldiers, dies on the gunfire.
Friendly fire,
it's pretty
too.
good. Huh?
Was it friendly fire? Like
It was friendly fire, yeah. Because
Oh,
the one
was it?
guy,
I
the one
couldn't
guy
tell.
turns back and he's just blindly shooting, and he gets her right in the face.
Like
Oh,
that's what it looked like. I still wasn't sure.
Yeah.
They were shooting everywhere.
And
So
then when they go to look at the body later, she's shot in the face. So yeah, it was an accident.
so it
but,
would have
yeah.
made sense if she was shot in the head, but she was shot in the face.
Yeah,
Like,
if
she
she
was
was
shot, like,
if she
in
was
the
shot
back.
from one of the stringers, they would have been the back of the head. But yeah, so yeah, he was just
Gotcha.
shooting back blindly and just unlucky.
I understand Omar's a big fan of shotguns, but distance weapon shotgun ain't it, buddy. I don't want to tell him he can't do it, but
I mean,
that
That's
ain't
the
it.
power of Omar.
it's effective up close. You know, you get right in front of like a kid. Like, yeah, he's gonna be scared of the shotgun. But yeah, whenever you got like 10 people in a house, like
If you
little
see Omar
ineffective.
shooting a shotgun at you from a mile away, you're still gonna flinch.
Yeah. They basically then Burrell and them sit down and talk about the academy class, like how to push it under the rug, like it didn't really happen. That fucking guy gets undressed again, basically in front of the like. These guys have more meetings than anybody ever about these homicides daily. Because another one died. And like he just is like nonchalant. Like, he just doesn't care. Like care. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, he ran his numbers clean. Ran
Mhm.
it like tried to show so like for whatever reason, like he's just tired of it.
Yeah.
He's just tired of all the games. Just
All
kind
the
of wants to.
Well, he
politics
makes
and
logical sense. Like, how am I going to stop people from shooting each other? I can't do like. There's nothing I can physically do. Like,
the system's broken. What we're doing's not working.
Stringer has one of my favorite scenes so far on The Wire. It was a 40-degree day, like 60. Like, start screaming, "Don't fucking come back with this 40 fucking day!" Like he's pissed, and it's one of my favorite scenes.
We'll get you that 40-degree day.
Maybe that guy is actually the dumbest character. 40-degree day.
What else happens?
We had
Omar's.
the one.
Go ahead.
We had the one police officer who was bigger in like the first season who died on the Stairmaster.
Right.
So they have the whole funeral thing for him, which he's actually in real life he's a producer on the show who really passed away before the third season. That's why they kind of made a big deal about it and kind of paid tribute to him. Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. Omar's dealing with the death of the girl. It's a fact. He's ruthless. Basically, he's basically Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
He steals from the drug dealers and gives to the other people, but like the people he cares about, he really cares about, and it affects him pretty bad.
Well, I think about the one about this one too is that this one is more he's got a personal vendetta against Stringer and the Barksdale organization, where they've told him there are other drug dealers we can be robbing who aren't as armed up and ready for us to attack them. But Omar was kept pushing the issue on this one, and then one of the people got killed. So I think that's why he's taking it a little bit harder too.
Stringer's the last guy. He's the last Brandon guy that he hasn't gotten to yet. So.
We also see Littlefinger get busy, which I could have done without.
Which he was pretty much having sex with himself, the way he was staring at himself in that mirror. which is fitting for Littlefinger. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's wild. Anything else I missed? I probably did. I'm having a problem because I watched this. I had a busy week, so I watched Wire first because I should have watched it last. But I was afraid I wasn't going to get to it, so it's hard to off my dome.
That's all right.
It does leave with an ominous shot of Omar standing outside like the funeral home, right? With smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, because they had tried to entice him by coming to the funeral home because of like they put a wake for the girl that for his crew that died. Like, hey, maybe he'll show up and
open casket. What the fuck? No one's ever gotten a bullet hole in the face in the open casket or whatever. Only in The Wire.
A couple things because they found the guy who shot Dozerman beginning of this episode, and Bunk is now given the impossible task of retrieving his gun, which, I mean, just starts off like we start off another season where Bunk is given like just the worst job ever. Like last season, hey, go solve the Container Girls murder, and he somehow does it. Now it's like, hey, find this gun in a city of guns.
I think he's trying to track down a guy. What was the Spider nickname or something like that?
He has to find a Peanut.
Peanut, yeah.
A fella named Peanut. And the Wire is tired of going after Cheese's crew. He's not doing anything. They move over to a new target to the name of Kentel Williamson. People are not happy about it. From last episode, Bodie was encroaching on Fruit's territory when a Marlowe's man, and now Fruit decides to do something about it. He beats the shit out of Bodie's crew, baseball bats. So yeah, go fuck that guy. Brought up that. Oh yeah, and we brought in Cuddy. He's trying to go through his life about being in the game. He's trying to have a normal life. He goes after his old girlfriend in a suit and tie for some stupid reason. Shows up at her school, looks like a dope, But he does get talked into, sitting in a meeting. The preacher try to set his life straight, which a little bit of that. I also have Carver's bad. Carver's bad at his job because the people are coming in for help. He's like, I don't know. We just take bodies. Like, it's up to you to do what you got to do. Like, that guy fucking made Sergeant. That was stupid. And then Bubbles is going to be snitching for Jimmy and Kima again. Kind of get some updates on the Barksdale's crew. And last big thing is like Bunny now gets everybody involved, saying, hey, we're now going to push all drug traffic to these designated locations. And we tell the drug dealers, if you guys sell drugs in this particular area, we're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good episode. A couple of things to add on to the scene with Cuddy and his ex-girl. That was rough. She got the cold line. He's like, it hurts me to look at you. And she's like, don't look. I feel bad for that guy. He's having a rough go. This one of the things that this season kind of shows how someone who's in jail for like 14 years, a long stretch, shows how it's like for them trying to get back in the world and the world doesn't really give them a whole lot of options except to kind of go back to the life they were living before. So that's really interesting. Kima is starting to turn a little bit into McNulty. She's having a hard time with the personal life. She's not doing too good with her old lady and the baby, and she's definitely struggling. She's not being satisfied at work either, so she's having a hard go. Like I said, McNulty's always struggling with he's not getting the results that he wants, so he's going to go and try to piss people off and everything. But yeah, good episode. And like I said, it's leading up to some really good storyline with the whole legalizing drugs. That's going to be really good for the rest of the season. So good stuff.
Which I do want to piggyback on what Matt just said. I think this is maybe one of my favorite things about this 3-episode stint is how we spent all of last season feeling pretty bad for Jimmy just because like he's not on this detail. He kind of has no purpose and like he's just so self-destructive. Like we want to see him do good. And now he's back in the job. He's getting exactly what he wants. And he just can't help himself but like just torpedo his career. It's like when like we like Jimmy, but at the same time we're like, man, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you fucking up the one good thing in your life right now?
He's not bringing down Stringer. He's not doing what he wants to do.
Facts. Okay. Well, did you want to give an update kill count on each show, like where we're at?
Oh yeah, so we had a good little bit of kills here in the wire. Actually, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 deaths in these 3 episodes. So that's getting us up there. It looks like we're about encroaching 45 deaths in the wire so far.
Okay.
Let's see. Breaking Bad, I think we added another 4 this week. So if we're going with the unofficial count, we're at around 190. If we're going with the official count, we're closer to about 27.
Yeah, I don't know how many people died in the cartel like incident, but I think there's only like 4 shown on screen.
And then, like I said, with Oz, I think we added 1, 2, 3. So we're at about 48 in Oz. So we're moving along.
Yep. Okay, so that's this week's episode. Next week, we will be back. We're doing Oz 4, 5, 6, Wire 4, 5, 6, and then Breaking Bad. We will wrap up season 3 of Breaking Bad, which I just want one word: run. So we will catch you next week. Peace.